Well, let's talk about a framework and the need for framework and a little bit about the traps that we find with common coaching approaches. So, first trap is lack of preparation. So this is the winging it approach to coaching. It's just a quick hallway conversation, and I just jump into a coaching conversation. Now, we're all for hallway coaching on the fly, all for winging it conversations, but without any kind of preparation or thinking or any framework, they tend to not be terribly effective, and they contribute to the problem where the manager thinks, I've just had a quick conversation, coaching conversation in the hallway, and the coachee thinks, well, he just gave me some direction on what I ought to do about this problem. It wasn't a coaching conversation. So we had that big disconnect about we saw in that first survey. Now, this is a fascinating one, not clarifying what the coachee wants from the conversation. Very often, coaches struggle with this step, this idea that I start asking, what is it you want? So even if it's in the hallway, hey boss, we got a problem with, well, for the boss to just take a minute and say, so what are you looking for? You want me to help you solve that problem? Or you're looking, so what exactly are you looking for? Versus you've probably been in conversations where, oh, really? Okay, you get deep into it, and you start throwing out solutions, and you end up 10 to 15, sometimes later, realizing, well, they just wanted to give you information. They didn't want any solving of problems, or just wanted to vent or keep you updated. So just spending a few minutes, well, what exactly are you looking for? Or vice versa, if I'm initiating it, what am I looking for? Too much airtime. One of the things that we do in the workshop, the coaching session, is we have people come in with real scenarios, because we talk about we want this to be real scenarios, not role play. We want real situations. And then we pair them up and have them start to coach each other. And so we start having a coaching conversation, and then at the end of it say, now, who was doing most of the talking? Because in a typical conversation where I say, hey, I'd like some coaching, or you say to me, I'd like to get your coaching, or I sit there and I start to coach you, what do I feel I need to do? And give you advice. It's really more mentoring or training. And so we have a little acronym that we use to try to remind everybody about the right ratio of airtime. The acronym is WAIT, W-A-I-T. Why am I talking? What's the purpose of me talking right now? Is it to give advice? Is it to direct? Is it training? Or am I following a better coaching framework than that? So offering advice way too early in the conversation, inevitably when we go through these sessions, participants come away saying that's a big insight for many, is that I'm jumping way too quickly into giving advice. And we often end up not spending enough time as well looking at alternatives and exploring different options for this. And so we're not then sometimes determining the full level of commitment to change. These start to fit together. So if I don't really clarify what the coachee wants, if I'm giving advice, then I don't get good commitment to change. And what often happens is then there's not a lot of follow-through and follow-up and accountability to that change, because in essence, it's the manager now 3 weeks later saying, so how's my plan working out for you? Right? How's the thing I think you ought to be doing, the advice I gave you, how are you doing in implementing my advice? Well, that's a very different kind of conversation than how is the plan we came up with, or even better, how is your plan working out for you? Let's follow up on what you decided to do. So a skilled coach will guide that conversation and will, in a vast majority of time, have the ownership and commitment to change resting with the coachee.